Okay, we're going over the points of performance for the lunge pattern. Starting with the split lunge or split squat, we'll notice here that Corey's torso is moving in a straight up and down manner, like an elevator. Okay, so we're also going to be letting the knee travel forward. And again, we can modify a few things here in this position. So we can also bias a little bit more knee movement forward, which may stress different tissues of the knee and the quad. Depending on what you're experiencing, that is one variable that we can manipulate. The other things that we'll show you are actually how to make this movement maybe a little bit more enjoyable or easier, and we can use two things. The first thing is we can change the amount of range of motion that we're using in the lunge pattern by bringing the floor up to us. And so a pad, a pillow is one way to actually make the movement slightly easier by reducing the range of motion. The second thing is actually reducing the balance element of this. A lot of times when we're on one leg, we can be unbalanced. And so by eliminating that, it allows us to actually strengthen the muscles more effectively. And so we use a broomstick, a PVC pipe, holding onto a bench or doorway to allow us to actually feel and understand and accomplish the movement, okay? A few different variations that we'll show you here. The first one is we're gonna start with a front foot elevated split squat. And a lot of times we program front foot elevated split squats or front foot elevated reverse lunges. And what this does in this position is, one, it might offload the front leg a little bit and actually allows for deeper ranges of hip extension on our back leg, which can be a great stretch for the hip flexors. So again, we talk about points of performance. Corey's torso is moving straight up and down. His knee, yes, is bending. The space behind his knee is closing, okay? And he is moving this back knee straight down to the ground. And so a few different ways to do this. We can actually lean forward and bias the front leg more as we go down, okay? We can actually drop straight down and bias hip extension on our back leg a little bit more. So a lot of ways to get this done. The next variation we'll show is a rear foot elevated split squat or Bulgarian split squat, okay? So standing in this position, we're gonna rest our back foot on the box ever so slightly, which actually puts more stress on our front leg. Okay, and again, in this position, back leg moves straight down, okay? And again, we're really gonna challenge the front leg on this one. Holding weights can be out in front of the body or by the side of our body, depending on what implement we are using. Like before, we can also bring the ground up by putting something under our knee if needed. And again, that's just one example of how we can make this movement to fit you and meet you where you're at. The last movement that we'll show is just a walking lunge. And again, this is a great movement because when we think about life, right, we're moving in life. We're sometimes decelerating. And so for our runners or people who are doing locomotive type things, this is a great way to actually integrate, walking and moving into the strength training that we're doing here with a walking lunge. Gentle tap of the knee, standing back up in that pattern. So these are the points of performance for the lunge. Great exercise for the lower body and the strength through the hips, quads, and the chain.